Hello, my name is Obije Oru, the fashion designer, award-winning costume designer, fashion entrepreneur, seamstress, tailor, obioma, sura, whatever it is you want to call me. This is Design Matrix, Module 1, Chapter 1. This is Design Matrix, Module 1, Chapter 1. And we are treating 3 basic types of skirts. The straight skirts, the pencil skirts, and the A-line skirts. Here are the tools you're going to be needing. Your pencils, your ruler, long and short ruler, scissors, the fabric scissors and the paper scissors, your sets of squares, your French curve, your white paper, your pins, your tailor's chalk, a tape rule, and then the type of measurements that you're going to need. You need to watch the other video to tell you the measurements that you're going to need for making a basic skirt pattern. But I can just tell you out now, you need the measurement of the waist, measurement of the hip, measurement of the center to the floor, side to the floor, back to the floor, center to the knee. Those are the measurements we're going to be using. So let's start. So I'm going to take my sheet of paper and fold it into 2 equal halves, like this. I want to get the middle of the paper, so 2 equal halves. That's what I've done. So my ruler, that's what I need now, and my pencil. So I'm going to get a line across this paper all the way to the bottom part. Because so now I'm going to find my top line. Pay attention to the vocabulary. The top line is 2 inches from the tip of the paper. So I'm marking 2 inches on all 3 sides now, because this is 1, 2, 3 sides. Connecting the line. Connecting the line. So that's my top line, which automatically becomes my waist line. So the next line to get is the hip line. The hip line is 8 inches away from the waistline. That means the hip is basically 8 inches away from the waist, except the person has a peculiar figure, where she has like a lower hip or a high hip. So connect that line. This becomes my hip line. The next line to get is my center to knee. That's the measurement from the waist to the knee. I'm using 22 in this case. 22, so from the waist to the knee, 22. I'm using 22. So the measurements that we're going to use for this particular pattern, and you can use your own measurements. You can pick somebody, do a measurement and use it. So I'm going to be using waist of 26, hip of 38, C2K, which is center to the knee, of 22, like I've done here already. So we have the waistline, the top line, which is 2 inches from the edge of the paper. That becomes the waistline. The hip line, which is 8 inches away from the hip. 8 inches away from the hip. So this is the hip line. Like I said, the hip line only varies if the person has a low hip or a high hip. Then you use your tape rule to take that measurement. Then we have the knee line, which is the measurement from the waist to the knee. In this case, we've used 22. So this becomes my front skirt in half, and this becomes my back skirt. So the next thing to do now is to take the hip measurements, divide it into 4, and place it on the line. So 38 divided into 4 is 9.5. So I go on my waistline from the side. This becomes the side, by the way. From the side, take a 9.5, I mark it, 9.5, mark it, on all the lines, on the waistline, the hip line, the knee line, on both sides of the paper. And then you connect the lines to give you like a long rectangular line. Yeah, so you have like 2 rectangles. This is my skirt. This is the front part of my skirt in half. This is the back part of my skirt in half. So what I'm about to do is that put in my darts and do my curves. So this becomes useless to us. We don't need this anymore, so I'm shading it out so you don't make any mistake. That is all gone. This is all gone. So the next thing we need to get is our dart line, which is normally 4 inches from the center of the paper. So 4 inches from the center. This is the center. This line is the center line. 4 inches from here. 4 inches from the hip line. 4 inches from the back. 4 inches on the hip line. Then I take my shorter ruler. You connect it. I connect it. So now for the darts. For the front darts, you want to use 1/2 inch on either side of the line. 1/2 inch, and then you go down 4 inches. That's the standard. You get an angle there. This is your darts. For the back, you want to go 3/4 because of the depth of the back. And you want to go down 6 inches. And you connect it. And that is your darts. Okay, we're almost there. The next thing we need to get is the curve of the side. And the waist is 26 inches. So you take the waistline and you divide it into 4, like you did this. You get a 6.5 there. So we want 6.5 on either side of the paper. So for the front, so this is a dark dart. You know you're going to be sewing that. So that will not be part of, that won't be part of the fabric anymore, the measurements. So shade that out. So I want to get 6.5 here. So I have 3.5 there. Continue, I get a 6.5 and I mark it. When I go to the back, I do the same thing. I have 3 here, 3.25 here. I take it there and I get a 6.5 and I mark it. Okay, so you need the French curves to cup the hip line. You go on the hip line and you go up 2 inches. Put your curve in the most comfortable part and you curve it. You go to the back, flip the curve over and you curve it. So this is your basic skirt pattern, and this is the pattern where every skirt style will be based upon. I'm going to just cut this out now so we can cut it out on the fabric and see what it looks like. So just cutting along this line. I'm about to cut my fabric, so fold in 2 like this. Now I need my pins. So this is all secured. Now my tailor's chalk. So I'll measure 1/2 inch as my sewing, what people call sewing allowance, but it's actually sewing ease. So 1/2 inch all the way on the side. And my fabric. 1/2 inch here too. On the back, the same thing. 1/2 inch. an inch here too. This is the center at the back. 1 inch for your zip allowance. 1 inch. Okay, so now I take my fabric scissors. Remember, fabric and paper scissors, 2 different ones. So I take my fabric scissors and I cut along the lines I have marked. You mark your hip line, the waistline, hip line, the waistline on both parts. You mark the dots. This is how I mark my dots, pretty easy. I just put a pin and needle through the line and mark it on both sides. That way I don't make a mistake. So I've done that for the back. Sorry. Put it through the dots. Mark it so I don't make a mistake. On both sides. So I take that out. I also want to mark the zip line. Okay. Let's go back here. So I take my scissors and I notch on all the places that I marked. And you'll see why in a minute. Notch on all the places you've marked. Notch on all of them. Zip line. Okay, so now I want to take out my pins. This is the front part of the skirts. You can already see that. So we're not sewing, but we can take care of the dots by folding. See, I'm going to take this place to meet this one, like that. I'm just going to pin it down so that you can see exactly what it is that we're doing. This you need to sew. I'm just pinning. Okay, same thing here. Take the 2 places mates. Notch. Put it together. So you see, the front is ready. Okay, now I go to the back. Take the 2 lines. This is done. Flip it. Do same thing here. Okay. This is the back. So you take your front, place your back against it, making sure that the 2 lines are meeting, the hip line where we notched is meeting. So my pins come into play again. For you, this will be stitches and not pins. So putting this together. So then you have the zipper. This is where you insert your zip. So you want to pin that also. Or in your case, insert the zipper and sew on it. Watch the video of how to fix a zipper in case you don't know how to do one. Sure, you can find it on the same channel, Byte TV. So after securing everything with my pin, I'm going to flip it so you can see what the end result is. The end result is a straight skirt. There you go. I'll put it on the mannequin. This is the end results. So you can see your darts. This is where you had your half inch all the way down to 4. This is your side, same side. This is the back, and this is where you should have your zipper. It's the back darts.